Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of the Gamer Pups, but today is a GaymerPupscast. And we've reached the end of this crazy journey that's called Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And let's move to our usual suspects. We have, oh yeah, I gotta hide that. So we have our usual suspects. We have Star Shadow to our right. We have Moo here as well. Ooh. They're back! Yay! And we have Dad. Gamer Dad. Oh, we also have a dog.
What's up?
Hello, gizmo-looking dog.
So, as always, this is Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and this is now episode 6. So if you have not seen this episode, or up to these episodes, this is now a spoiler warning. Everything beyond this point is spoilers.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, why are you watching episode 6 of this podcast? Like, you should have probably started episode 1. You've hit the wrong button.
But hopefully, for all of you who have watched through this with us, you're excited and to talk about the end of this, as we are, is this series ended really well. I even cried a bit, so.
All right, well, let's start. We open up very usual Marvel logo. And then we still don't know what's in the fucking box. I figured we would know, but it isn't. We're at the GRC building. It's picking up after Carly decided to run her little scheme and capture all the GRC representatives. And then you see kind of like a voiceover of what she kind of said last episode, where she was talking along the lines of like, we're being forced to do this. There's only one way to make them listen to us, and our hands are tied. She's basically at this point being kind of pushed to this extreme. And then Bucky comes in. We meet Sharon. The trio, Sharon, Bucky, and Sam, start talking to each other, and then you see Sam. Well, you don't really get a clear picture of Sam, but you know whatever this flying object is Sam, right?
Yep.
So the next, and this is probably where we're going to start talking. The next thing that happens after this point is a window shatters, the Captain America shield comes through, and boom, we get our first look at Sam Wilson, Captain America. The Black Captain America.
The
Captain America. Which gets brought up later, which is really good.
So they are very 2-point on comic book Captain America as Sam here. So this is his outfit. We know now that he got it from Wakanda. That's what was in the suitcase at the end of the last episode. And he's got a lot of bells and whistles that are very familiar that he's going to end up using throughout the episode, on top of some new skill sets.
So let's talk about the costume reveal, okay? I fucking hate it. I hate this costume. Oh my god. I hate this costume so much. It is super ugly. I've never liked this costume in the comics, and I definitely do not like it in real life. It's just bad. You get your thoughts, guys?
I'm going to let them go first.
I mean, it was basically what it was in the comics, wasn't it?
It's like 100% on point with the comics.
With the stars and stripes on it? Yeah.
Yep. It's just, ugh.
I mean, I liked it. I thought it looked really good. The only thing and this is, of course, from the comic books, was he doesn't have anything to protect the top of his head.
That's true. Yeah, that's
so
true.
Like, he comes smashing through windows and shit, and he doesn't. I mean, I understand, like at certain points, is just like when he had his other ones, he would kind of like fold them over him.
Yep.
To protect himself and everything like that. But I'm just like, that boy's gonna get a concussion.
You know what?
Vibranium helmet on him.
That's what I'm saying. Similar to what John Walker said earlier in the series, like, he doesn't have a helmet now. Now, like, how is he going to stop grenades?
Yeah.
I mean, I liked it. The thing I keep in mind about Sam is a pilot. that was his background. They put him basically in a flight suit version of Captain America instead of a soldier. So he's got his flat flight suit Falcon outfit, but now more of an eagle. He's got his now wings, much more flexible individual wings.
Oh, shit.
What?
It does look like an eagle. Oh my god, how the fuck did I miss this?
So his wing type is very different, much more flexible, and individually, and they go all the way in and disappear and come out. He uses them throughout this entire episode in all kinds of different ways. And we'll talk more about that, but like between anchoring himself down, I talked with Hachi. I guess we'll cover that now so we can cover the other points later.
Sure.
So as far as the outfit goes, it's like he uses his outfit. He uses his wings to cover himself, shield himself from blasts to go through windows. He's got his similar buddies these little drones he used to go out and do things for him individually.
Yay, Red Wing is back.
He's got his flight goggles on that also have a HUD display on them, so he can actively see things as well as adapt his vision to the different scenarios, and he uses that several times in this situation. It also allows him to see through his drones. He's got a shield that he can use, toss. It also hooks onto the back, and you see the mag lock on the back of his back. So like
he's got MagSafe.
Yeah, you got that MagSafe. I think one of the things that I like originally like pointed out was when he's taking blasts later on and punches and stuff, and he uses his wings to anchor himself. Very clearly, this outfit is probably lined with vibranium, because he wouldn't be able to take those blasts without breaking his limbs unless parts of those outfits were lined with a vibranium skeleton to assist his strength. So he's probably has assistance in the backbone of that structure of his flight suit that also helps protect him.
So the one thing I really liked about what's happening right now in the MCU is that a lot of superheroes now are being outfitted with Wakanda technology, which is interesting. Wakanda's taking this like center stage. I remember when Avengers 2 came out and Tony was basically outfitting everybody. Tony redid the Captain America. He basically redid everybody's outfits with Stark Tech technology. And now it's Wakanda tech. It's Shuri tech.
I remember when Wakanda saw Tony's tech and I was like, ew, this stuff's old. Like, this is so, like, this is your tech? Like, this is ridiculously, like, you could do so much better than this.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, their shit falls apart. Remember that episode where they were like, and then Bucky's arm falls off?
Well, we also have Bucky in his brand new golden arm, like gold lined arm.
So let me say that there was so much white in this fucking outfit that I swear to God, somewhere on that outfit is going to say "Made in Anaheim, California, assembled in China." I feel like this looks like a fucking Apple product. Like, it's that suit is not going to stay that white. I'm telling you right now, that suit is like white right now, but it's not going to stay that way. Straight up. No, nobody's no. Okay, I
will say, as you watch this whole thing and you see Sam fight through this whole episode, you see a very big difference between Sam fighting and how John Walker fought. Sam is constantly using his shield and protecting. He's doing where he's a protector. He's not going for these execution blows. The shield is a shield again, and he's using it properly. And it's pretty nice to see him make use of that, as well as his expertise. And he is Captain America in his own right. He's not leaning on something else. His suit is now combined with his shield and his new expertise to be what he is.
So, as Bucky's infiltrating the building, Sharon's doing her own part, the team split up. Batroc engages with Sam, and there's this really cool kind of fight.
Our first time seeing him actually fight.
Throwing his shield around like a boss. I'm actually kind of disappointed, though, that shield did not bust through that chair. The fact that one chair brought down the shield, I was like, what the fuck is that chair made out of? Is that Wakanda technology chair? But
Bucky on his face, like Zoom call, like the first 10-15 minutes of the entire episode. just talking on the phone.
Yeah, but Carly does this really brilliant thing by distracting Bucky by basically keeping him on the phone while everything else is going on.
And Sam's in the middle of this fight. What's her name? Sharon is basically yelling, saying like, "Hey guys, like get to it. Things are going on." Sam immediately sees this whole thing as a trap, and they're trying to get the people to leave, and he wants the people not to leave the building, but they're already filing the people down the stairs and trying to get them into the vehicles. And Sam is immediately put into this fight after he's already trying to get them to stop. He knows the plan. He gets it. Bucky can't stop anything. He's distracted. Sharon's like, hey, you guys gotta go. There's also a fucking helicopter going off. Sam, you need to get that. She's telling them about downstairs, and Bucky's like trying to get to that after the call.
Oh my god, you just went through like 5 of my bullet points in one sentence.
Sorry.
Dad, your opinion on the Batroc versus Sam and the whole GRC building shakedown.
I like the conversation between Bucky and Carly. Again, I think it gives a little bit of, it kind of shows Carly that there's a little bit of pause, about what she's about to do, but she still plows forward with it anyways, right? Granted, but it was kind of like the conversation she had with Sam. It was meant to kind of humanize her a little bit, not create such a bad guy. But on the other hand, the fight with Beltroc or whatever his name is, and and Sam, honestly, I kind of wish they hadn't brought him back. I think that was just a lot of extra filler there, and you needed someone of a really high caliber to fight with Sam. But honestly, they could have just sent in any one of the Flag Smashers, and it would have been just as good.
True.
So
absolutely.
He needed to be there for what happens later.
Yeah, I know, but it was just, again, they could have found another way around that. But anyways, everyone who files down, they push everyone into those vans. The Flag Smashers lock them in, and and they're all going their kind of the separate ways. You get 2 vans heading out, and you got the helicopter leaving. So
Shadow.
But no, honestly, like that little bit, like it doesn't cut through shit. It just absorbs impacts.
Sorry, you cut out a bit. Can you repeat that? Oh, you're still cutting.
His connections keeps cutting out.
All right, well, hang in there, Star Shadow. Let us know when.
Your frames keep freezing. Oh wow, that's a big jump. I can add. I think what you were saying with the call of Sam. I think that was a lot more character development for Sam and what he learned from the last episode. Not Sam, Bucky. From what he talked with Sam. As he's basically talking to Carly like, hey, I've done this. I've been here. It doesn't work. Like, this isn't what you like. You need to change your mind. Like, and she's like, oh yeah, but like, no, how would you? And he's like, how would you know? And he's like, because I've done this. Like, you need to stop. And he's constantly trying to humanize her, convince him from his own personal experience and kind of seeing where he's gone wrong. From constantly trying to avenge stuff to change it instead of actually doing the different work to make it happen. So you see Sam breaking through Bucky at that point, and Bucky's mindset changing for the first time over the whole thing. And also going down the stairs and like seeing all this stuff going on and like just filing into those trucks. I'm like, I was watching it and I'm like, how come none of these people are questioning what's going on? To me, this is sketchy as fuck.
This is pretty much normal fire drill behavior.
Is it?
Though. It is though.
I mean, like, this is sketchy as fuck.
How many times have you ever been in a building and where you were in a fire drill that literally you don't think, you just follow people? People are like this way, and then
this is a terrorist attack, not a fire drill. It's not like, oh, everybody get out of the building so you don't burn down.
Listen, we can't talk about our jobs, but we definitely do this.
Okay.
Starshed, are you back with us? You're good? Nope. Not good. Star Shadow is a painting right now. Are you there, buddy? Well, okay.
Is it better to switch to video Star Shadow from video off and just do mic?
Really?
Oh, I hear you now. They always have exit strategies planned for politicians.
The made sense to me.
Yeah. See,
But to me, they would go to a bunker. They have lockdown bunkers in buildings like that. You would go into like a skiff or something that would be like, like
we literally just went through this January 6th. Like
they went to secure rooms. They don't go to a fucking vehicle and leave. They have secure rooms in there where they're like literally like can't be broken into. They secure themselves. They get in there and they keep everyone else out.
Okay, but what are you questioning? That they're moving into a secured facility and not making any questions, or the fact that they're going into vans?
Going into vans.
Okay. Well,
armored vans downstairs in the fucking garage. I was just like this. I'm like, hey, what's going on here? Why you want us in this van right now?
Well, clearly it was very cleverly planned because Carly's people were within the security system anyway. So, I mean, it worked because Marvel said it was going to work.
Yeah, but even Sam's like, hey, what the fuck's going on? Why are you leaving? Don't leave. That's what they want you to do.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But let's move on. This horse is dead.
I'm going to keep beating it and kicking it.
Oh, Jesus. So part of the van gets away, and Bucky goes after it in his little motorcycle, and Sharon does a not very nice thing and basically melts one of the drivers' face off and essentially kills one of the flag smashers through some kind of like weird mercury poisoning acid thing.
She's like, oh, it's nothing.
Yeah. She's very nonchalant about her murdering people.
You can buy it at the Dollar Tree.
Right.
Madripoor, yeah.
Yeah.
And Madripoor, yeah. All the stores in Madripoor have these.
So before we move on this major scene to the scenes outside, Star Shadow, are you coming through correctly?
Like, I see his eyes moving around. We just can't hear him. We can see you, and you're fine, but we can't hear you, Star Shadow.
Oh, dear. Okay. Well, Star Shadow, at any point you want to voice your opinion, I'll come back to you, but if you just want to say anything, go ahead and say it, and then I'll edit you in there. Oh, okay. He's gone. Well, okay. So, then Bucky and Carly's conversation. Okay. And then as Moo mentioned before, so there's a bunch of different exit strategies. One of them includes the senators at the more higher levels of the building. So they're basically evacuating everybody in this building. And some of the senators are being evacuated via helicopter. And of course, Sam has to end his fight with Batroc in order to go and take out the person that's basically kidnapping basically the person that's kidnapping the helicopter. And there's this whole flying aerial scene. We'll get there in a second. Oh, actually, no, we'll get there now. Sorry.
Yeah, I feel like we could split this up between what happens in the helicopter and what happens at the vans. Because if we take care of the helicopter first, when we get to the vans, we can talk about what happens at the end of the van where Sam comes in.
Yes, that's true. Well, so let's take care of the helicopter stuff first.
Because they've passed back and forth a lot in these scenes, so it's probably easier to just group and tell you guys about these as two separate scenes.
Okay. Before I pass it off to Dad, I just want to say one thing. Red Wing is back, baby! Yeah, I love Red Wing. I was very sad when he died, episode 2, and then they never did anything to bring poor Red Wing back. But now, 4 episodes later, Red Wing is back. Okay, Dad, what do you want to tell us about the aerial scenes in this episode? Also, the CGI was really good.
Yeah, it's all it's all very exciting and everything. They get to show off some of the tech that Wakanda has brought to bear for the new Captain America. And like you said, Red Wing is back. If anyone knows what a Red Wing is, put it in the comments below. So,
God damn it!
But honestly, I was less interested in that. I mean, so you got the whole, Sam like plugs into start messaging one of the people actually on the helicopter that are one of the hostages, and
which
basically
I don't know
says-
if you guys caught it. There was a little subtle like Apple iPhone like in that. I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of Apple products have been making it into Marvel movies lately. Unless it's like a Spider-Man movie, then they're using Sony phones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, like Marvel, you expect to see that kind of stuff because Apple and Disney do have kind of a pretty good relationship with each other and everything like that. So, Sam takes out he saves the two helicopter pilots. Then he takes out that are chasing after the one that the Flag Smashers have, and eventually takes out the pilot of the Flag Smashers helicopter. One of the people he was in contact with jumps in, pulls the helicopter out of its spin, which would have been really hard to do. And honestly, that was to me was a lot. That was exciting, but there's not much narrative there. It's really more exciting to see what happens down on the ground.
Well, when it comes to his capabilities, I think it's cool.
Yeah.
He uses Red Wing to ID everyone in the helicopter. Then he uses Red Wing not just to ID, but look at all their backgrounds. And then he locates one of the people on there with pilot experience. So that way when he does...
Fucking random, by the way.
That way when he does take out the person piloting, he's already in contact and telling her exactly when to take control.
I love these part in movies where things are just perfectly aligned for perfect alignment's sake. Like, there just happens to be a helicopter pilot right there when you need him.
I mean, jobs and hiring would be way easier if companies could get your resume that quickly.
True.
But he saves everyone. He gets them taken care of. She's over. Everyone cheers. Those people are safe. Next scene.
Wait. There's
some more?
there's notes that I have in my head.
Okay.
Head notes. So one of the really cool things, it happens twice in this episode. The first one is when Sam saves the pilots coming off of the helicopter. He lands on the bridge, and the way he kind of lands is very much like this, like an angel, like in a sense of the way that the wings come out and basically comes down, and he rescues these people, and everybody's excited, everybody's happy, everybody kind of has this feeling that Cap is back. Actually, one of the people say like, hey, it's this old man. He's like, man, it's Black Falcon. And the guy that's like, recording, once again on an iPhone, is like, nah, that's Captain America. And I'm really glad they did that. This
all takes place after the scene of the other scene.
After.
Shit.
They say
that's fine. I'll just edit this afterwards.
Okay. The other
Stop jumping ahead, Hachi.
So the other scene, we have Bucky chasing down the two vehicles, basically gets them to a stop. Carly's there. She's freaking out. They're starting to fight, and Sam's like hand to hand fighting off the Flag Smashers, doing pretty well. Carly screams that they need a distraction. He needs to save one. They need to do something, so he has to save someone. So they light one of the two trucks on fire. Which causes Sam to freak out and basically have to be distracted.
But here's the thing. So the reason why Carly puts these vehicles on fire is slightly before this scene. Carly's basically putting everything together, and she's basically said like, hey, we're more than likely going to kill these people. And that made one of them go, hey, what's up? That wasn't a deal. We were going to use them as a bargaining chip to make this work. But Carly's at this level where she is like all in. There's no turning back from her. Like her turning back point was like up until the point where her friend died, right? Yeah. Where she got like after that point, that's it. She's like, either we're going to fucking change the world or we're going to die.
Yep.
No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Dad, you want to talk about the ground scenes?
Yeah, so you've got Bucky. Bucky, they light the one of the trucks on fire. Bucky starts trying to get the people out. They had already put this kind of like locking device on there, which has got like 8 legs to it, which is kind of interesting.
I see where you're going.
That was more my first part because they didn't put those both
this.
on the trucks at the same time on the other one. So when the other people saw them putting that on when they were sitting in the other one, I would have been like, what the fuck are you doing?
But anyway, so they're fighting, Bucky's distracted. They start trying to take off, and here comes John Walker. And he's
Which
like,
is the
hey,
backup.
bitches, what's up?
Yep.
And there's a conversation between Carly and John where Carly is apologizing for killing Lamar. And John is, not really having any of it. But, you can see that she obviously did not mean to kill him. And she has the best line in the whole episode. It's just, I didn't mean to kill someone who's not important.
Which is, yeah.
She's like, he
And
wasn't.
John just
very
goes
bright.
ape shit
Yeah,
over it. And
This
yeah,
is the
that
best
was
part after.
yeah.
So John is the backup that Falcon called, that Sam called, which I was surprised because when you saw him at the end of the last episode, where he's banging his shield and he's you're like, oh fucking John, right? I thought that was Valentina, or that was him on his own accord, but apparently Sam, that's the backup that Sam called.
Sam called Sharon.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, okay. I didn't understand it. I thought Sharon was there for Sharon reasons,
John
which we
showed
will
up-
talk about later.
John showed up.
Well,
all by
Sharon is
himself.
there for Sharon reasons, but Sam also called her in.
I see.
John just happens to be there because he's an egotistical maniac.
I see. I
But
misunderstood
the
that.
best part is he starts fighting the Flag Smashers, and they all fucking kick his ass. And
Yeah.
he's got this cheap ass shield that he's made out of his like shit that he's had. His medals are like engraved, like embedded. Well, like not what is it called?
His
Soldered
stars,
into it.
yeah.
And like he's looking at
Did you
them.
notice? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, it's getting busted in and beaten, and like they're like kicking him and like all on top of him and like just destroying him.
Did you notice when he walks up, that shield, you would not be able to tell the difference between that shield and the captain's shield, like the real shield. I mean, he did a badass job. I mean, there was a little bit of variation, I think, in some of the
Right.
in some of the striping stuff.
You could
But
tell
he did
that
a
it was
badass
good.
job.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he still did a badass job. It looked like when they did the one pass of it, I was like, that looks exactly like the regular captain's shield.
Until I got all those dents in it.
Except the real
Yeah.
shield doesn't bend or dent.
Well, yeah, until they start beating his ass, and then he.
Oh, Star Shadow's here.
I think he's
Okay.
just voice only. There.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I just I guess it was just my video messing things up.
Okay, good. All right, I'll make sure to get into you. So, Star Shadow. Actually, this is a perfect segue moment. Star Shadow, what did you think about the ground scenes?
It was Bucky trying to be Bucky, being all cool with his little motorcycle and all that shit, and then it's just
It's true. That is so Hollywood fucking moment where they ride on the top wheel and then just do some kind of weird flying shit. So Hollywood.
Yep.
But yeah, go ahead, Star Shadow.
what was he doing? He was like trying to rip off those weird lock things, whatever those were, right?
Yeah, he manages
With his
to
arm?
bust it off.
Yeah.
He actually uses his Wakandan
Vibranium.
arm, vibranium arm.
His Wakandan arm.
Lucky for Bucky, John Walker was the distraction he needed to be able to do that. Like
That's true.
John Walker getting his ass kicked by a bunch of flag
John
smashers
Traction.
John Straction.
was exactly what Bucky needed.
But yeah.
When
Like,
you
it
need a
was,
distraction, you need a John Straction.
It almost seemed like Walker just really did just come in on his own, and it's like, I'm just here for Carly.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah, he had business to, but you know what? Here's the thing. I was so certain that my heart for him was never going to return. I like last episode. They did so much to try to make me feel bad for John, but I literally did not give a fucking shit about John until.
Did anybody?
Well, some people feel Moo felt bad. You said you'd felt bad for them because you said that's how the U.S. treats the army.
It was the veterans.
Yeah, in that perspective, yeah. But like, he's also a huge dick.
But I literally didn't give a shit. Like even with that, I didn't give a shit. So when the truck was falling over the edge, I literally thought to myself, "Oh, he's gonna go for Carly, and he's just gonna let these people die, and then somebody's gonna come and fix it."
So. After Sam breaks free one of them and gets people out, Carly runs and jumps into the other truck. And she gets away while John is currently having his ass kicked by the Flag Smashers. You now have Bucky like try to get them off, but he then gets pushed off the edge of the like building onto the lower level in a fight. And he's now below everyone. And Carly is now in the vehicle and trying to drive the vehicle over and jumping out right before the vehicle goes over, and John is quickly under the decision to either chase after Carly or save the vehicle with all the senators in it.
And it was a split decision, and he literally does the right thing, which I'm surprised.
It was one of those pause moments similar to when the vial was there, and it was kind of that pause, and it's like, was he going to do it? So the way they directed it, like I actually thought he might actually go for Carly at that moment. And instead, you see John Walker.
The way the team's framed, yeah.
Right.
You see him go for the vehicle and try to pull it back.
So for me, I would say this is the moment where I'm a person that judges people by their actions, not necessarily by what comes out of their mouth. And you know what? John, at least for a moment, squashed his beef with Carly and did the right thing. What do you guys think about John's basically coming to Jesus moment? Star Shadow?
I just want to take a moment to say that you judge people by their actions, not by what comes out of their mouth, is totally a Jersey thing to do.
It's so true.
It really is.
Why are we like this? Why, Snooki? Why?
Funny story about that show. We'll talk about that later. So expected Walker to go after Carly, but then it's like, oh, he goes for the truck instead. It's almost like the writers realized that they were kind of going overboard with him in the past 2 episodes. So they were just like, we need to give him something memeable to do.
Yeah. I honestly didn't think John was going to survive this series, but I was surprised that he did. Dad?
Well, I mean, I think they made the right choice creatively by, having John make the choice to basically let Carly go and save the people, because I think if you'd done that like the episode before, that would not have been the right decision. That wouldn't have been the decision he would have made, right? So something has changed for him. But at the same time, he is not an all bad character. He's not an evil person. He does things out of a desire to help and to do, and generally, I'm just saying generally, to do good. He doesn't, I think he wants to hold it up to the standards of a Captain America, but when he was juiced up, freshly juiced, right?
He did a booty bump.
And he was a little high on his cocoa. He made a really bad choice, bad decision, and decapitated someone with Captain's shield. So now they give him the chance to actually kind of right some wrongs, and I think it was a good decision. And I always knew he was going to make it past the series because of the fact that he's going to be an integral part of either the Thunderbolts or the Dark Avengers or something. He's kind of like the not quite the anti-captain, but he's kind of, he's going to be a foil to Sam Wilson's Captain America. So, and we see that later on in the episode as U.S. agent. So,
well, we get to see his first heroic action, I think, in the whole series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing here is that
Yeah,
when
really.
he's making that decision, you can hear that little Captain America motif that they have, like that little like dun 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 type like music swell. And
No, it's more like
That's nope. That's not it. That's not it.
that's
Nope.
that's definitely not it.
Well, what happens next is, even though he tried to save the van, he gets knocked off too and fails.
Well, because there's like 3 fucking flag smashers.
Yeah,
on
that
him.
basically jump on him and he falls to the ground with them where Sam's at. Not Sam, where Bucky's
way.
at. And we see the car starting to fall, but just in the nick of the time, the camera pans and we see Sam right underneath with his rockets in full blast, lifting the entire thing up, which again is where I believe the whole suit is lined with vibranium, because he wouldn't have been able to support the structure without super strength or something behind it unless his suit was also lined with a vibranium skeleton and those jets underneath it. So
That was one hell of a
He is
favor
basically-
called into Wakanda.
Yeah, he is basically Captain America, Falcon, and Black Panther all in one.
I thought you were going to say Iron Man between his jets. and
Oh
his
yeah,
super
Iron Man.
suit.
He's also got some Iron Man in him too. But I mean, like with the jet engines and stuff. But he is basically like Black Panther, Captain America, and Falcon. with the
Hachi was like,
wings,
how
all
comes
of
they
that.
didn't fucking put the Black Panther powers in the fucking suit?
It's
Like,
true.
the like bouncing off and like storing energy and launching it. Like, if they have
Well,
that tech.
Yeah,
Considering
but now
the
he's got
amount
the
of times
shield.
you guys
He's
asked
got the
me.
shield. He's got Red Wing. I mean, that would giving him the energy to displace firepower might be a little too much.
Because if Sam
One
wanted to
super
have
well.
the shock absorption vibranium armor, he needed to get the Captain America Suit Pro. It's a different model. Okay, it starts at $12,000, right? First of all, and then if you
12,000.
want more
That
RAM
shield
on
like
it,
3 million billion.
yeah, if you want more RAM on it, you have to it's like 8 or 16 cores. Like,
I do think in order for him to be able to actually use that tech, if it would have been in his suit, he would need to have a super serum like the Panther has. The Wakanda has its own version of the super serum from its plant, but it's like Panther's able to use that power in its suit because he can take the blows. He's got to be able to take the blows to give them back.
but here's the
He
thing.
takes some really big blows,
Yep, massive blows.
Oh,
huge blows.
goodbye money.
How
Black
come he
Panther.
doesn't have a suit lady? I'm upset he doesn't have a suit lady.
Who?
Sam.
Sam?
Sam doesn't have a suit lady.
Oh,
What do you mean, it's too lady?
Oh,
Okay,
like that
so
kind of-
Stark
okay.
had a suit lady, and Peter has suit lady. That's what
You're
that's
talking
what
about
Peter
Oh, you're
called her.
talking about an AI voice?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Peter calls him. Peter calls her suit lady.
but Sam saves the day, lifts it up. Now gets to the point where Hachi was talking about earlier, as he lands and everyone's cheering, and the Flag Smashers are pretty much stuck. Wait, no, I'm wrong. He stops, and I forgot all about the part with Carly, because after he saves the vehicle, Sam goes immediately after Carly and Sam, Bucky, and
No, I'm gonna edit all this so it sounds like a correct timeline. Okay, so after Sam pushes the vehicle up, and
Excuse me,
right,
watch the episode again.
you do hear people say like, "Who is that?" It's like, that's Black Falcon. No, it's Captain America. Then basically Walker, Bucky, and Sam go down to essentially capture the rest of the Flag Smashers that are down there, and then fucking Batroc comes out of nowhere and just gasses the whole place up. Again, this is one of those weird
yeah,
situations.
you're right. Yep.
This is one of those weird situations in Hollywood movies where they need something to happen, so they force something to happen. It doesn't make sense why Batroc would help them, but I guess.
And that sounds
Especially
like
because the
comic
next
book
scene.
logic if you think about it.
So after they're all dispersed, they're in the building. They're running away. Sam, Bucky, and John are running through the building, and they split up because
Scooby-Doo
Sam's
style.
using his vision, his goggles, basically to see through the explosion in the cloud, and he's using it to follow their tracks all the way through the building. until which way they went, and they split up eventually. And I thought it was funny that the two super soldiers split up and Sam went the other way by himself. And it's like, oh, the super soldiers it's like almost like a power split, because normally you would want to divide your teams evenly.
Right.
But they put Sam by himself. And so I thought that was actually kind of cool that they did that.
So I think we should let Dad talk about this next section, because
It was his prediction.
I would have to say the number one prediction winner from 4 episodes ago is this motherfucker. Dad got it literally like episode 3. Like Dad figured it out.
Letter too.
To the letter, to basically the scenario in which it was going to happen. Dad called it. So, Dad, take it away. What happens in the tunnels?
So Carly is going through the tunnels, and in comes Sharon, and Sharon is got a gun, and I can't remember, did Carly have a gun at that point?
Yes.
I think she did, didn't she? And they start a conversation, and Carly basically says, I don't want to hurt people. I would just want to change the world. You just want to control the world. And they basically out Sharon as being the power broker in this whole scene.
I like the quote, without super soldiers, how much power does the power broker really have? And then Sharon was like, more than you.
Yeah.
And then we see...
And she says, you can come back, you can work for me. And, there's the whole, because basically Sharon would be able to, if she could find someone to do it and do this research, they could probably extract the serum out of her bloodstream, right? So, and probably continue building super soldiers. So Sharon is very keen on bringing Carly back to Madripoor and continuing to work with her. But they don't see eye to eye any longer. And Batroc comes in, and he realizes that Sharon is actually the power broker. Now, the only thing I got wrong was I thought Bucky and Sam would be there at the same time, and I thought they would realize that Sharon was the power broker, and she would be like, "Sorry," But it
creates so much more delicious drama with them not being there.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So Batroc gets shot by Sharon. Sharon gets shot by Carly.
Well, he tries to bribe her.
Oh, yeah, he does.
He's like, because he was hired to spy on Carly by Sharon. Mm-hmm. And he's like, now that I know who you are, I went 4 to 5 times what you were going to pay me. And she's like, sorry, I don't do blackmail.
And Sharon is a strong, independent woman, and she need no man. So she fucking capped him.
And then Carly capped her back. So.
Yeah. So.
Well, sort of.
Yeah.
Sharon gets shot in the stomach. She's down, and then this is when Sam comes in.
So wait, no, hold on, wait. Let's give Dad a chance to shine here. Dad, what was your feeling as you were seeing all of this unwind? I want to know when you saw your prediction basically come to life.
I was super excited, and I called you both right away, and I was like, did you see it yet? And you were like, we're going to watch it tomorrow. And I was like, motherfucker. Like, God damn it, now the wait. But Hachi figured out what I was so excited about. He's like, wait, is Sharon the power broker? And I was like, ugh. He's like, damn it, Dad. How'd you get that right? I was like, it just seemed like the most obvious creative choice. So, and that is classic Hollywood, right? Yeah, but it's classic Hollywood. You get the, that reveal that she's the bad guy, I was very excited.
Right. So while all this is happening, Carly is going to fight Sam here. And I'll let Moo take this panel because I know Moo is going to want to talk to it. But let me just get this one thing out of the way. So as the Flag Smashers are escaping and they're all trying to find out where they're going, they get a little blip from their app, and they just happen to walk into a trap laid by Bucky. out of all people,
Who learned how to use a phone.
who learned how to use a cell phone, and he's just like, hey man, this is a great app. And what was strange here, the funny exchange here was John, who quoted Abraham Lincoln, random, and Bucky was just like,
You're not allowed to do that.
you're not, yeah, exactly. Anybody want to comment on this particular scene before we get it back into more emotionally depth stuff?
I feel like that one's pretty straightforward at that moment.
Yeah, but maybe.
Yeah, that was a pretty
For
straightforward.
me, at least, I don't need to add anything to that.
Okay, I guess.
Yeah, it was
I
like,
guess
how did Bucky find the time? How did Bucky find the time to actually learn how to use an app?
And also, was it an Apple phone? I want to know, what phone was this? What is Bucky's preference?
Okay, so but the thing is, he didn't have to like download the app and all that kind of stuff. When that lady handed the phone to her, it had the Flag Smasher app on it.
Oh.
Shit, that's true. That's true.
I was hoping Bucky
And
learned how to use
so
it when
he
was
had that
young.
phone on him.
And I think that was an
I
Android,
forgot
which
about
is
that
funny because an Android and Bucky, right?
It's a cyborg.
Okay.
What are you implying?
I'm implying that this entire season was basically talking about Bucky being a cyborg.
Do you think Bucky's more grinder or growler?
Oh, Bucky is scruff. 100% scruff, okay?
Okay.
Bucky's on scruff.
2 looking for a third?
Oh my god. Shit.
But that third is Chris Evans.
Oof. Oh, I'll get to this at the end.
106-year-old super soldier looking for a good time.
Oh my god.
Moo.
Okay.
Fisting bottoms to the front of the line.
Fisting bottoms. Ouch. So
He's like, I can do the puffy arm.
Oh god, no. What if it comes detached while it's in there? What's that hospital ride gonna be like?
Well, I mean, you can always just reattach it.
wow, we're
Yeah.
spinning way out of control here. Well, Sam and Carly. Sam comes in and he sees Carly after she just shot Sharon, and he's basically like, Carly, what the fuck are you doing? And she's like, you don't understand. Like, stop, back away. And he's like, no, you don't you need to stop this. Like, you can't just kidnap people. This isn't going to fix anything. He's going right back to where he's been going with her, like, nonstop.
Carly feels betrayed by Sam because Sam appears wearing the Captain America suit.
And basically, she's a sellout. Well, she sees him as a complete sellout at that point. Like, it's completely over. She can no longer talk with him. And so they start fighting, and she starts fighting, and Sam is I don't want to fight you this entire thing. Like, she is coming at him, and instead of fighting back, he's blocking every single hit that she, like, does. All the way through the entire fight. Like, we get to see some of those things I told you where he's, like, grounding his, like, wings down with his shield in order to hold off, like, the punches. How's this end again? Where
This is the
I
very
know how it ends. Carly gets up to gunpoint finally at Sam, and he seems like he's stuck, and there's nothing at that point for him to do. And
is he though?
Sharon comes and takes Carly out with a gun from the side, and Carly's now falls to the ground.
Which is heartbreaking because I was hoping this entire series that Carly would have a turnaround moment, but it's just like, man, she's just so pushed. She pushed over the edge that it's heartbreaking.
Well, the thing that I think is more important here is we see Sam's good heart basically come through. He's sad at the outcome. He didn't want this to happen. He bends down and picks Carly up and starts carrying her out of the building in his hands. Like, he cared deeply from the very get-go about Carly, and this was the last thing he wanted to happen to her. He wanted her to change. He didn't want her death to be the outcome.
So
Well, it's funny because like right before she dies, she does say she was sorry.
Yep.
Yeah.
She does.
Did
She
she
has
do that?
her. She has. I mean, like I think everybody has this moment when they pass away. Like they're seeing the pearly gates. This is their time, and they realize that they wasted their life to get to this moment, right? So I don't know.
I sure hope not everybody has that experience. That sounds like a sad way to die.
Yeah, I'm totally.
I kind of am out the mind that she's not dead.
Oh,
And I know the way they play it, she's dead. But they took her away on a gurney.
That's true.
That's true.
I mean, it's comic books, right? People have died. People have come back from a lot more.
And
so
the U.S. government probably really doesn't want her dead.
Oh fuck!
just get some Hero Soldier
So
serum.
before we go into the next one,
she might not be dead. It might not just take one bullet to kill her.
It's true. It's true.
so Sam walks her out. We hear everyone screaming and cheering for Sam.
But right before that, when Sam lands, he has this very iconic,
it's so cool.
Angel of Mercy kind of landing. His wings are out. It's again, the symbolism in the show is absolutely ridiculous. So he has this basic Angel of Mercy kind of landing and bringing the body almost angelic. There's no other way to say it, but that's a forced perspective to you that Sam is this force of good, right? And he delivers Carly's body.
So before we go to the next point, and I'll let someone talk about what happens next, if you want to do it, Hachi. There was a point I brought up to Hachi yesterday that he didn't realize. And it is basically the backbone for the whole story in post-blip. Because it's an allegory to something else in U.S. history. So this whole blip, when everyone comes back 5 years later and the governments are arguing what to do with all these people that didn't exist moments before and what to do with them, that need living, need places to go, and their solution is to create new countries, new boundaries, push them elsewhere, and they don't want to take responsibility for them. It's important to understand what happened in the United States after the slaves were free, because that was the big point in question, was what to do with the slaves that were now all of a sudden people instead of property, and the laws and legal systems, and they didn't own anything, they didn't have anything, they were living on plantations and other places, they didn't have homes to go, there was arguments if they should be sent back to Africa, if they should be sent back, if they should be pushed out west. Many of them did go out west. They drew new boundaries, new places. And that entire point is important to understand, because it was a struggle of what to do and what the country had to do. And Sam brings it up from a perspective of a black man in his next big, basically, dialogue with the senators.
Yep. So Sam here has possibly, if you didn't get the point at 30 to 40 minutes in that Sam has basically become Captain America, or basically has been Captain America this entire time, this monologue that essentially, because he doesn't really allow the GRC to talk, he's essentially schooling them in this monologue of his. Star Shadow, you want to talk about the Sam talking to the GRC council? Oh, wait. Hold on. Right before they start talking to the GRC council, when the news people were rushing to Sam, basically saying like, "Hey, what we should call you? When did the U.S. government say that you could be Captain America? Blah blah blah." One very important thing that came up is somebody goes, "What should we call you? Are you Captain Falcon now?" And I felt justified, okay? I felt justified in the moment. You all can go fuck yourself for making fun of me, because I called it 6 episodes ago.
Yeah, no, when I heard that, I was like, oh, Hachi's going to feel so validated at this point.
So, tell us what do you think about Sam's speech?
I can't even remember the finer details of it. He was, oh man.
Go over this in great detail.
Someone else go. I can't remember right now. I'm blanking.
Okay, we'll let Dad handle this. Dad.
No, Hachi, you go. I just had some points at the to put in, so I'll let you do it.
Okay, so Sam does this. Sam has this opportunity to basically educate the GRC Council. First things first, what he comes down to say is like, "Hey, are you guys still going with your plans?" And they they don't really kind of care what just came on. They just go right into fucking business mode, and they're just like, "Yep, that's fine. We're gonna get this pushed through. The terrorists only pushed us back so like a week or so, but we still going ahead as planned." And Sam takes this moment to basically go, "No, that's the wrong way to do it. You need to basically meet them halfway, meet them at the table. You need to realize that you are privileged, and these people have the audacity, especially the American senator, talk down to Sam like, you just you don't know how it is, you don't understand." And I think Sam basically stole the show where he goes, what is it exactly that I don't understand? Like, I'm a black man carrying the stars and stripes. Like, I know exactly how hard this is. What it's like to be displaced by your own governments. Because remember, these refugees are being displaced by their own governments. So he basically tells them that they have that they have privilege, and B, what are they doing with that privilege, with that power? Because essentially, he even compares them to Thanos in a sense. He's just like, "Hey, look, we had this mad titan. He made half the world disappear, and all of you collectively at this point can equally do that. You can equally make those people that came back disappear if you wanted to. You have that choice. So what are you going to do with this power? Because you can," he said, "with a phone call, you can feed the homeless. You can redraw lines. You can do all these things." And then he's not wrong. These people have that power.
He's like, the big point is like, every time you make those decisions, the people that you impact are never in the room with you. Only the other people that are making the decisions are there with you.
And basically that they have the same power as either a mad god or, in this case, a misguided teenager like Carly. And if they don't take a lesson and they don't ask why Carly did all of these things, then they'll never understand them. And then Carly 2.0 is going to come, and that's going to be worse than the first Carly, because at the end of the day, these people, the Flag Smashers, rose against their governments and almost successfully took them all down.
Yep.
So that's basically what Sam kind of just puts it all on the table. And what's interesting about the scene is that, like, Sarah is watching, Isaiah is watching, which becomes really powerful.
The entire
later
world
on.
is watching.
Exactly. The entire world is watching what's going on here.
Yep.
Dad, you want to add your notes?
Yeah, and I think that was one of the things I was going to say, is that Sam gives a very impassioned, powerful speech, and what he was him as Captain America, he's more political than Steve Rogers was. So there is that. It actually fits really well into him being as Captain America and talking about, we need to do better. We need to stop. This didn't happen, and I think it also. He understands Carly. She wasn't just doing this for power, like Sharon or Thanos or something like that. She was doing it because she believed in something. She thought there was something, a greater good here. And so basically, like you said, by not acknowledging that, by just writing them off as terrorists or a thug, I think I remember,
he
says
uses all
terrorists.
the words there.
Yeah, he's like, you use these words and you don't stop to consider like why these people are doing this or how they're feeling, right? And you're all doing this in a vacuum. You're doing it, you're doing it because of the optics or because you feel like that's the right thing to do. But you need to stop and think about what you're doing.
And who you're.
And it was a very good scene. I do think it's super funny that the senator does not have a name. They just keep calling him senator.
Yeah.
But he doesn't ever have a name. He never gets credited as anyone
Yeah, like they never
other than. So someone I was reading someone, they said they're just going to start calling him Senator Bad Guy because he doesn't actually have a name.
He's an allegory for Ted Cruz, let's be honest. Nobody likes Ted Cruz.
Maybe it.
I'd say that's low, but it's also accurate.
I enjoyed
but if he
Sam's
wasn't
mic
Ted
drop.
Cruz, he wouldn't even listen to Black Captain because he would have been like, you don't know what you're talking about. I got to go to Cancun.
So Sam mic drops it, walks behind, and immediately they're like, "Hey, can you go take care of that last dude that fell into the river?"
But before that, what was really cool is that Bucky was like, "Good job, Cap," and it's a like you have to honestly say that look at where they started. Like these two characters, like Bucky ripped one of his fucking wings off in the Winter Soldier Captain America Part 2, right? And like basically left Sam to die, and Sam recovers.
Well, I mean, this
and
was
all
back
that
when
stuff.
Bucky was still being like controlled by Hydra.
Exactly. And then even then and all that, these characters really never got a chance to kind of to bro out, right? And right after essentially Endgame, here's they're united by this shield and divided by it at the same time because each of them have their own personal feelings about the shield representing them. So this journey that you see them go through and to see this acceptance where Bucky's like, "Nah, man, you are Cap." I thought that was really cool. What did you guys think about the Bucky Sam bromant?
They should have got a room.
They should have got a room. Oh my god.
Yeah, really. No, this entire series sort of was also this buddy cop show with the two of them, essentially.
Yeah, one's the good one, one's the bad one.
Yeah, and then also like you see it in the last episode where it was like Bucky kind of did come to the realization that Sam was meant to be the next Captain America, right from the start of that episode.
Yeah, versus the episode before that, where Bucky's like, "I'm just going to take the shield away and deal with this." Like after everything that happened with John Walker.
Right. So yeah, no, Hachi was saying before, like what was in the box. We're all pretty sure that it was the wings, but I'm pretty sure Bucky went a step further and said, "Hey, could you also paint it to look like the Captain America suit?"
Oh, so we're gonna have to. Bucky's the one we're gonna have to blame for all that fucking white. Of course.
Bucky's statement.
Have you seen
I'm sorry, I stopped listening to you after I stopped listening after I heard Black Captain America and basically way to go and like accepting in that validation. It's like it's you. I agree with you guys. I liked Bucky's basically affirmation to him at that point, walking away. Sam does his mic drop and it's Bucky and him there.
Daddy?
Yeah, that it's the show's about obviously Sam's coming to grips with him being Captain America, about them finding some common ground other than just having Steve in the middle, and and about Bucky coming to terms with his yeah, I know. And with Bucky coming to
Sam
terms
going
with
to duty.
Yeah, with his time as Winter Soldier, which is what we see next. But it was a very nice touch, and Bucky touches the shield, and he says, "Nice job, Cap." It also kind of, to me, I also kind of took that as you made the right choice, Cap. You made the right choice, Steve.
Oh, true.
So,
yeah, I see that.
yeah, you should, because that's exactly what that fucking was.
When they asked if he could help, and Sam's just like always and flies off.
So
okay, again, go save the cat out of the tree.
So then, right after this moment, the remaining Flag Smashers are being transported from one prison to, from wherever they were being held to a high security prison. Star Shadow, you want to walk us through this?
So they're being loaded into a prisoner transport truck And one of the guards of that truck pretty much leans in and says, "One world, one people."
To which I was scared. When they said that, I was like, oh, shit.
They're about ready to get away.
Yeah. And as the convoy starts rolling out, the truck that all of the remaining flag smashers in just goes up in flames.
Boom.
And yeah.
And I literally, when they panned over to who did that, I was like, I literally turned to Moon. I was like, who the fuck is that?
That was my reaction to it. I completely forgot who that was.
Who has money?
Until they switched to
the Yep. Then they switch over to the raft.
And
and as we see, it's none other than Zemo.
Oh my
Once
God.
again, pulling the strings.
Zemo just doesn't know how to exit the show. Seriously, like his story was done like 2 episodes ago, and he is just hanging on. He's just like one fucking cameo in every episode.
He had a mission. He wanted to make sure to get rid of those super soldiers. Like technically, they're just down to Bucky and John Walker now.
Which
and I was kind of expecting. I was kind of expecting Zemo to actually start dancing after he heard that they all died.
I'm almost certain that Zemo doesn't know that John took
the
serum.
Oh, so he might think it's already done.
Yeah, he might think his job is done.
But how could he not? He had the radio, and after what he did and it went public, I'm almost positive. Well, I guess he doesn't have to know that John has the serum after fucking beheading someone with the shield publicly, but
yeah, like that doesn't really mean someone took the serum.
Yeah. At least though we now know why in Spider-Man there's no flag smashers or any mention of this because they all dead.
Because they're all dead.
Then after this we have Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character again. She is probably the least explored character in this show, but God, why is she so fun? She's just so fun to be around.
Yeah.
She's
almost literally the Veep expanded universe.
Exactly. It's like she's like the therapist, but evil. She's like evil therapist lady. She has this thing where she basically tells Walker that we're back at the tribunal again area where she's basically helping Walker in his new suit. But so she's reading the latest headlines and she's basically catching Walker up like, hey, look, Zemo killed the remaining flag smashers. The job is done. And she's like, oh my God, it's almost like I planned it, but I did it. But did I? But maybe I did. But I didn't. But maybe I did.
She is such a fantastic actor.
I have to say though, this scene opens up here, and I'm asking, why are they here? Like he literally just got in trouble. This is a government building. They had to fucking go through scanners to get in here in order to set up and even go in there. And they're sitting in this room where it happened, and she's having him do it. Like, why did they do it here? How did they get in here? Like, who just like, why are you using this government official room or whatever? Oh, we're trying on this new suit. We need to do it right here.
Yeah, that really didn't make sense to me either. It was like, why are you here? Why can't we do it like somewhere else?
I don't know. I feel like because we don't know enough about her character and we have to wait until July 9th when Black Widow comes out, when we'll find out more. I was literally about to call her Widow.
Well, even if she's
because I just didn't want to use colors anymore.
Yeah.
Dad, what do you think about John's new suit?
It's exactly the same.
But black.
I mean, even the symbol that they had on him, kind of looked like a star and an A. So, which to me was a reimagined idea for the Captain America suit. So it came to me the A for agent, knowing that he was going to become a U.S. agent. Val is awesome in this scene with the whole like did I not and everything, and the poor wife she's just confused the whole time. So, but it was good. It was a nice touch, revealing that he is going to take on his new persona as U.S. agent, and they're not saving that for any for like a later reveal. So
it's interesting that she had maybe at most 10 minutes tops screen time in this 6-hour
In the
TV
entire series.
show. Exactly.
Yeah.
And she's pretty much did almost a runaway job. Like, there were better actors than her, but
was
she
good.
came really fucking close.
So
like
good.
she was really good of a character.
Oh, and if we're talking about John Walker's character, apparently, like, his only, like, big thing before this was, he was, in an episode of what's the Black Mirror?
No, he's done a lot more than that.
His big thing apparently was they were talking about his background was from Black Mirror, and like, so he's now a star, a Marvel star, and wherever they're going to move or do with him next, he's there and he's part of the story. And whether it's going to be in the big movies or in the next series or what's happening, he's a pivotal character. And also another thing about his suit, like, not only it black, the thing about it, he also has a gun on it. He's no longer carrying a shield. He's a U.S. agent, so he's much different. He's a super soldier with the guns. Hachi compared him to the Punisher, and when it comes to being more of an anti-hero.
Yep. Bucky then talks to Mr. Nikojima, and you kind of see a lot of you see a lot of Bucky's story basically wrap up at this point. He makes amends. He tells the truth. It's my favorite scene. The therapist is back. I was so happy to see her. But this
For like
symbolic
2 seconds.
Yeah, well, for 2 seconds, but it was the best 2 seconds of this episode. What's really interesting here is that I'm surprised, but Bucky actually gets rid of Steve's notebook. I thought he was going to hold on to that. I mean, there's more than just his list in there, obviously. There's all these notes that Steve left in it, but he...
Sex positions, food said he wanted to try.
The Wi-Fi.
I mean,
password.
there's
He's like, what does
no way to know
Cleveland
that fucking
Steamer mean?
oh god.
He's like,
A page of the
don't
Death Note.
use the N-word any longer.
Oh my god! Just because you're friends with
Third
Sam
chapter
doesn't
of all
give
the
me
Rachel
the
Flores that
ability to say the N-word.
What was that, Star Shadow?
Saying there's an entire chapter in the notebook of just all the little racial slurs he can't say anymore.
Yeah.
Things
Don't say
Words
this.
he can't use.
Oh my god, I don't even.
Homosexuals are not F words. Like, it's like...
They
Bucky,
specifically
you can
ask you
be
to
out now.
call him that.
Oh, jeez.
Big rainbow flag drone in there. I'm proud of you, buddy, for coming out.
You know what? That's the
Bucky
thing.
always
We
Bucky
should
always crossed me as bi.
if we're gonna have these Marvel TV shows, we should have one called The Notebook, where it's literally like, what's in those pages, man? I want to know what's in those pages.
The next part is what made me cry. I
So
cried.
why
in
don't
this
you
episode.
take this?
Are you
So
sure you don't
Sam
want to?
goes and talks to Isaiah.
Okay.
Oh god.
So if
This
you
one got
guys
me too.
remember in the last episode, Sam talks with Isaiah after getting the shield back after basically John kills someone publicly. And Isaiah goes into this really deep thing about his past, about what happened to him, about how he was basically an experiment after he's the only one that survived the super soldier out of all, and then he was put in prison basically to be a test subject, and then basically told him that no proud black man would would carry that shield or lift it up. And so in this episode, Isaiah is more or less actually proud of Sam for what happened. And he's more affirming, and even Isaiah's is that his grandchild or son?
Grandchild.
His grandson's there with him, and they're having this conversation back and forth, basically what Sam went through, what he had to do, kind of why he picked it up, and that he basically believed he didn't believe he had to stop, he had to keep fighting. And then he tells Isaiah that he needs to take him someplace. And his grandson's like, wait, where are we going? Like, type thing. And they go, and the next thing we pan into the memorial that we started the whole series off in season 1 with, but it's changed a bit. And as we pan over, I don't know if it's gold. It's probably a bronze statue. I don't know. But it's a bronze statue of Isaiah in his blues. His military blues with a plaque and a history of him and what he did. And he's standing there and Isaiah's like crying as he sees it. And Sam's like, now this way, nobody will ever forget what you did for this country.
That was really powerful.
Oh, I'm trying not to cry now. I'm happy they did that. I'm really happy they did that for that character. And like, there's literally nothing the United States could fucking do, in my opinion, to like ever make fix what they did to him. But the fact that Sam did that, gave him the history, gave him a history that he could be proud of for him and their people. And then not only that, he chose to keep fighting and carry the shield. So not only is Sam did not pick up that shield being the first black Captain America. He gave Isaiah the credit, in my opinion. He's like, Isaiah was the first. He was the first Captain America. He was the one that deserved this. He's the one that gave his whole life for Steve to ever even be able to have or do anything that he did. It was Isaiah's sacrifice, and that was what I saw in that tribute. He wasn't going to take credit for that, and he like is it Einstein that says I stand where I am only because I stand on the shoulders of giants? And I think it's important for anyone who has power, especially good people who have power, to understand how they get it and where it comes from. And the fact that Sam doesn't just respect what Steve did for him, but what Isaiah did was a really, really big deal here. And it just gives way, way more. And you talked earlier about how Steve basically had privilege. And he did, and that's why he didn't have to be political. And there's other statements like, often the reason you never have to think about these other fights is because they don't impact you. These fights and everything that Sam talked about, he having to pick up every moment he picked up the shield, he doesn't get to forget there's people around the country that hate him for doing it. And he knows, unlike Steve, where he's got everyone's support, every single day he carries that shield is going to be a fight. It's different. He's got different battles. He's got different fights. He can't focus all his attention on the things like Steve did, like defeating Hydra. He's got people behind him that he's leading. And he's did his first action by taking care of the one who sacrificed the most to get him where he was on that day. And it was Isaiah, not Steve.
Dad?
Yeah, I agree with all that. It's when he goes to see Isaiah, and Isaiah's like, "You did a good job." I mean, that of course meant the world to Sam, and I love the way that they kind of end the show on the statue, and them acknowledging Isaiah's role in the super soldier serum, and having risked his life and everything that's been taken away from him as a way to kind of give him that history back. So it was an excellent. It was a very, very well done scene, and now we have another superhero who I hope that they actually take some time and explore in another movie. I would love to see an Isaiah Bradley, Korean War movie. You could even bring Sebastian Stan in as the Winter Soldier, as the bad guy. It'd be awesome.
Ooh.
I want to add one last point real quick, because the other thing is the fact that it ended on a statue. Another really big topic in the United States right now is constantly about how we need to take down monuments of racism, Confederate statues, things that celebrate basically racism in the United States. And people are often talking about, what do we replace them about? And everyone is always like, we replace them with the truth. And that is basically...
Oh, shit.
That's what that statue is. It's Sam having the history and the truth. Because Isaiah's like, they don't get to know the truth because they erased me. They erased it. But the image that was there before, Sam tore it down and put a statue up to tell everyone the truth. And that was the correct way to make the statue. And I think that talks to a major point, a very big talking point in the United States right now. Those are the type of monuments we need to see about slavery, about the people who were celebrated, about the people like the Tuskegee trials, the other people, the Tulsa bombings. Those things need to be public. Juneteenth. Like, our country needs to be aware of the things that they sacrificed to get to where we are now, not the dead people who basically died trying to keep them enslaved and under us. So there we go. My point.
You are on top of this. Like, you see things that I have not seen, and I'm really glad that I was able to do this podcast with you. Dad, did you want to finish your point with the monument scene?
No, I think I got it.
Okay. Star Shadow?
Anything to add on top of that, but I do want to. I kind of wanted to scene kind of pitching this whole idea to the Smithsonian, like, hey, I want this to happen. Like, it's gonna take for you to make it happen.
I wanted old Cap. I wanted old Steve Rogers to be on this finale, and he wasn't in it.
Could you imagine if they panned and Steve Rogers was in the background, like, just sitting there, but he was crying and looking at everything going on? Like, that would have been kind of cool.
All right, but that's what's been bugging me about this, because, like, the last episode, they were talking about Steve like he had already died. I'm just sitting there going, well, wait, why didn't we have a funeral scene for him then?
I don't know.
That's why I'm thinking remember in the beginning of the episode, I said, where are they? Is this taking place at Tony's funeral, or is this taking place at Steve's funeral?
Yeah, they didn't.
We don't know. We left it ambiguous. So,
well, the other thing was, it was more like Sam was getting ready for the whatever that was when he's handed the shield over to them.
Yeah, that's true. That too. And so afterwards, we're back in the South. It's a big, nice little celebration. Everybody's having fun. Kids are hanging off of Bucky's arm for some reason. And
well, he's just flirting.
Right.
They're hanging out with Sam, their uncle, who has his roommate along with him. Their favorite uncle and his roommate, Bucky.
Oh God, so good. This bromance is so intense. And then they have this really cute couples moment where they stare off into the sunset, and then they look at each other and they nod, and then they make out.
I mean, that happened off camera, but still.
Yeah, and then it just ends with the title, Falcon and Winter Soldier, and there's a bunch of credits. But before we end,
no, hold on. It doesn't say Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It says Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
Oh shit! I didn't catch that.
I'm upset. We're going to get to see Torres later, hopefully, in either the next season or the next movie as the new Falcon. But we'll wait patiently.
He does have the old wings.
Falcon. It's true. El Falcon.
El Falcon.
Hold on, doesn't he dress as a luchador though?
Kind of. So it's very similar to that.
Wait, does he?
Yeah.
In the comics, in the comics, he's a Falcon human hybrid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to see this. It's gonna be cool.
Can he get his powers from the Power Broker in the comics?
No, I don't think so. But oh my God, if that translates over.
But the next part, speaking of the Power Broker,
you're not. We're not. What? Oh, I didn't see that. Sad. So, Dad, do you want to wrap us up here with the closing credits?
Those fake tears in that trial.
Yeah. So you see Sharon in front of Captain Bad Guy and the council. And
Senator Bad Guy.
Senator Bad Guy. Yeah. Sorry, what did I say? Captain Bad Guy.
Yeah.
And then and they.
John Walker's not there.
Yeah, they offer her a full pardon. Offer her a full pardon, and they invoke Peggy's name, and they talk about the good name of the Carters, and they offer her old job back. I assume in the CIA,
like high up in the
because
CIA.
they didn't really. Obviously, the shield is completely out, kaput at this point, right? So she walks out. They see her. You see her coming down the steps, and she gets on her Android phone, and she says, "Hey, Super Searches might be off the table, but we've just got access to a bunch of government secrets and prototype weapons. So line up the buyers. We're back in business." And she strolls off camera, powerful woman that she is, and she's probably going to go chug some brewskis. So,
So, all right, let's talk about it. What do you guys think about Sharon being the power broker?
They're setting her up to be a big villain either in the next season or what. That's the type of thing you do to say who's your next villain.
Well, they did confirm a Captain America 4 coming out. Captain America, Captain in the Hood. But like, so I'm not sure. Like, this is such a difficult thing for me because Sharon is a good character in the comic books. So this is a radical change for her.
yeah.
Well, what was the reason that she killed Cap at the end of the first Civil War?
She did it. Wait, she killed Cap? She didn't. Oh,
I thought she did.
Fuck. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yep, that is true. Sharon Carter did kill Captain America in the original Civil War comic books. Interesting. Shit. I didn't think about that.
So that's how they're setting her up in a way.
That's a good point. Dad, you won the so how do you, obviously you feel happy about it, but character plot wise, what do you think?
Honestly, I think it's not a bad idea. You already have an established character rather than bringing someone else in. Because in the comics, the power broker is Curtis Jackson, and then he has this evil Dr. Henchman guy. Honestly, you already have an established character. You've got a great actress. Why not use her in a way that is going to be useful for everyone? And it's someone that you don't want to see that happen to them, but it's a good. She's taking what happened to her. She's taking the skills that she has, and she's using them for her own benefit. And I think it's going to be. I think ultimately it'll be good because we can also rationalize with Sharon. Like we can talk to her. They can talk to her as a friend. I still don't understand why, if she was the power broker, she took them to go meet, Dr. Nagel. It's like, it doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, why would you take them to your most valuable asset, the person who's creating all these super soldier serums for you? It's like, bad shit happens in that case.
Yeah. Also, why didn't she call off all the guys that were hunting them while they were?
Yeah.
Yeah, that never made sense to me.
I think she's working.
She's the one who put the hit out on them, probably.
We do know she wanted that pardon, and she got it. That it was something she desired. So she needed to work them and give them something.
Something tells me that the power broker and the power broker as an entity and Sharon isn't 100% done. I feel like this is similar to like the Mandarin from Iron Man 3 and coming up with Shang-Chi. I feel like there's that kind of situation going on.
Yeah.
Star
it just
Shadow,
seems weird.
It does. Star Shadow, what do you think about Sharon's being the power broker?
There's a lot of 3 and 4D chess being played here right now.
It is. It's a lot of power moves being going on, and clearly they don't want to do anything here that will affect the movies too greatly. These are supposed to be bridges in between movies, so you can't make huge moves here. But it is interesting. It's a. This is gonna have to come up. Sam is gonna have to confront this.
Well, my question is, who's going to be her new muscle? Is she going to use? If she's in the government, is she going to use her position to make the U.S. government her new muscle?
Fuck.
Is she going to employ John Walker as her new muscle and use the contractor there and team up with that one girl?
It's like Walker's more can be used by Hydra.
Yeah. wherever Val is in this, like who? Because the question does to the point she has no muscle. She doesn't have the super soldiers anymore, but she's got different muscle. And what muscle is she going to use? Now she has a position to employ, and how is she going to use it? And if she got her position back, she's pretty high up there.
Lots of questions surrounding Sharon.
So that will all be hopefully answered eventually one day.
So okay. So obviously there's no episode predictions for next week because it's over. But what I do want us to do is basically talk about how we thought about the show, how the show affected us, what kind of lessons we learned, and all that stuff. So, Moo, do you want to talk about how basically the show overall and how has it impacted you as a Marvel viewer?
So, as opposed to this is the second series they've done, and we just saw WandaVision. WandaVision was very episodic. And it felt episodic. And it was meant to. That was the design. This very much felt like a movie that was split up. I enjoyed the story that they told in this. I felt like they gave both Bucky and Sam a lot of development. But I felt that this was a good series in the sense that it got into a lot of the political issues that have kind of been ignored since Ultron. Ultron was kind of one of the last major political Marvel movies. In which they were dealing with things like the Sokovia Accords and everything else afterwards, and what to do basically to protect the world and whatnot. Well, now after the snap and everything, we get this. So it's not. This movie is about what we do to our veterans. It's about what we do to our people of color in our community, and it's also what we do to our refugees and how we treat our refugees. And I like Sam. I think it's probably important to say that. For me, I never actually liked Steve Rogers too much. Sam was a good, and I've never really been a Captain America fan. I've always liked Iron Man. I'm an Iron Man fan. But in comparison to Steve, I actually like Sam way better. So for me, I'm excited. I'm a Sam fan. I'm excited. I think it's funny every time his nephews called him Uncle Sam, which is another just a thing for America or whatever, and all these other symbolisms that they did it. But I'm excited where they've done with his character, his developments, where he's placed, his power. It's not like he's one of these like major people, but it's more of his power and his character and who he is and what he means as this character that they're developing. He's not some god. He's still a human. He's not super intelligent and can build crazy ass things. He is a pilot who is given things in a legacy that he is trying to live up to and forge his own way with. And I can believe in that story.
Star Shadow, how did the show impact you?
I mean, it's a lot what just said, but it's also like I really enjoyed how it was pretty much origin story for Sam becoming Captain America, similar to how WandaVision wanted to become Scarlet Witch. So I kind of want to know what they're going to do with Loki. And a lot of rumors going around that we're going to have like Lady Loki make an appearance at some point.
So who knows? Tom Hiddleston in a wig.
That would be amazing.
Hiddleston in drag.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see him overall, but
yeah.
Dad?
I have to say, just in general, I agree with Moo on all that. It's excellent the way that they've developed. I always thought Steve was a little bit of a goody two shoes. I really liked him more towards the end, like when they had him in Endgame, and he, cause he was always like, I can do this all day, and then I love the one where the guy he comes up from in the past and he's like, I can do this whole day. And he goes, yeah, okay, that was great because he was kind of like, yeah, okay, I get it. I was I was like that. But overall, I have been really enjoying the the TV series and the time that they've been able to spend with each one of the characters, this is not anything that I think you would have gotten had they actually had Captain America 4 movie and they spent time with Sam and Bucky. Like, you wouldn't have gotten this. And they wouldn't have had as much time to be introduced, like Sarah and the therapist and all these great characters. It's really great how they've been able to kind of play this out. And they brought in the actors from the actual MCU, like the guy who plays Zemo and Sharon, and it's been awesome. It does feel like a very long movie, and that was broken up, and it is obviously very serialized, but it's just the way they do it. It's amazing. So I've been very happy with it. WandaVision, like Star Shadow said, it was a story about how she's going to become the Scarlet Witch, and this is about the story about how he becomes Captain America. Sam becomes Captain America, and Bucky comes to terms with his past. Hopefully, they'll be able to spend some more time with Bucky and Sam in Captain America 4. I'm hoping that because I know that is in development. I'm hoping Bucky will be featured prominently in that as
well. So I just want to say that this show led me in a direction that I did not anticipate from its trailers at all. I just, when I compare it to WandaVision, I was like, hey, WandaVision is going to be fun. I loved it. It was great. It was light. It was serious, but in its own kind of quirky way, right? And then when I saw Falcon and Winter Soldier coming up with the trailers and stuff, I thought to myself, I was like, you know what? This is just going to be your typical Marvel, like, beat 'em up, bang, 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 save the day type thing. And I believe that's actually kind of what
I thought, too.
Yeah, too. So, there's not... Okay. I don't see a lot of myself in media today. I don't see a lot of people that look like me or my peers in media. And so I think, and I'm hoping that out there is, a little black boy or a little black girl that could look at this and say, I can be Captain America and have that as a role model. Especially a Captain America that speaks for them, that speaks for a black voice. That was so heavily implied here. And it was both bringing out America's ugliness to the forefront that a lot of people don't know. A lot of people didn't know about Tulsa, Oklahoma. Not Oklahoma. Was it Tulsa? It was Tulsa.
Yep,
Nobody knows about the Tulsa. Nobody knew about the Tulsa massacre until a majority of people didn't know about the Tulsa massacre until what was it?
Lovecraft Country. Lovecraft Country brought it up into the forefront. Same with sundown towns and a bunch of other issues.
No.
Oh, you're talking about Watchmen.
Watchmen. Yes. Sorry.
It was in the Tulsa Massacre too.
Yeah.
But it was only towards the end. Well, the Tulsa Massacre was in Lovecraft Country, but only towards the end when they were going back in time.
Right. So it's interesting that we have modern media basically rebuilding this past that was kind of stolen from us. I mean, American excellence is great and all for like bringing our country together and all that crap. But the problem when you bring American excellence shouldn't mean American erasure. Like, we need to be able to look at our past and go, well, you know what? We fucked up.
You can't.
And like correct those. And it's not Marvel's job to do this, but I'm glad that they were able to do this because they were able to bring something this unfortunate and horrific out to the present. But at the same time, it gave voice, it gave urgency, not just to black voices, but to refugee voices, people who've been displaced, people who've been abused by the governments, people who are less, fortunate than people with more privilege that get pushed around. There's just so many things that this show gives voice and urgency to that almost all those superhero shit just kind of falls into the background in all of it. It's a very well written show, and I'm glad that I was wrong about it, and I'm glad that it had characters that I could love to hate, and then at the same time wish for redemptions of other characters. It was a wild ride, and I'm really glad that I was part of it. And actually, I'm really glad that I did this podcast with all you guys. Mm-hmm. So, Moo, Dad, Star Shadow, thank you very much for being part of this. This was awesome. Hopefully, after a little bit of a break, we can figure out what we're going to do with WandaVision.
There's a Black Widow coming up, so we can do a...
So Black Widow is July 9th, and Loki is June 19th. So there's going to be a little break between us and whatever current Marvel is. We're going to probably discuss amongst ourselves to figure out what we're going to do with WandaVision. But we probably definitely do want to cover that and all of Phase 4 as it comes out.
Yep.
If you haven't seen a Shang-Chi trailer, check it out. It's basically China Wakanda, which is like pretty cool, I guess. Yeah, thanks everyone for being part of this wild ride. Thank you, listeners, for listening, and my fantastic co-hosts for giving their opinions and history and political opinions about everything. So, all right, thank you guys. Thank you for watching. Have a good night. See you later.